Hello everyone, so my UCN all characters ranked based on difficulty video recently had the pinned comment reach 1,000 likes, which means that I have to do the list again. Although, considering the set of my channel, I thought that a members only video would be fitting because, well, I want to do more members only videos because you guys are the reason I can keep doing this. So, I decided to do this video, which is just going to be going through all the UCN characters and ranking them from easiest to hardest on a tier list. And I've got this tier list here. This would be very, very fun. And I'm going to be going through... When I first made the original list, I think I had like a total of like 5,000 points. Now I have beaten like 4820. So I haven't beaten 5020 quite yet, but I have a better understanding of which characters are actually hard and which ones aren't. So this is going to be an interesting list to make. So starting off with Toy Chica. Toy Chica is, quite frankly, really easy. Her and Toy Bonnie act exactly the same way. They appear in your room and, you have to put the mask on for them. Pretty easy. I would say that Toy Chica is actually slightly easier than Toy Bonnie, just because she's easier to see. I find that I'm always looking towards the left side of the office more. She can sometimes kill me if I'm getting overwhelmed, so I'm going to put her in I Will Be Fine. She's not very difficult, but she can kill you. So she's going to go here. Next up we have Toy Freddy, who is one of the hardest characters to deal with in Ultimate Custom Night. Literally, the strategy for him is pray he doesn't kill you, because he's just too difficult to deal with on his own. If you were to actually have to deal with every character, he is just straight up a pain. He's not the hardest character, but he's definitely in the top 3 for sure. He is ridiculous. I think I put him at number 2 on my original list. And yeah, he's definitely in the top 3, but we'll see when we get to it. Next up, Trash in the Gang. Literally the easiest character to deal with in the entire game. They are just distraction characters. They're definitely one of the harder distractions because the balloon can go on certain cameras and make it hard to see things, but it doesn't make that big of a difference. Next up we have Withered Bonnie, who is gonna go here. He doesn't show up nearly as often, and although he does have a chance to just kill you no matter what you do, he's, again, pretty easy to deal with. You just put the mask on, and he only can show up if you go over the camera on 13-second intervals, so just don't do that. So, yeah. Withered Chica's gonna go here. All the vent characters are gonna go here. Every single vent character can be dealt with by just closing the vent. In fact, Mengel's also a vent character, so he's gonna go there. If I see any others, I'll just be popping them in there. Saves time, and also, all that sort of stuff, so... no. We've got DD. DD's got straight hardest character, 100%. They can just add characters that are annoying. They're definitely the most hated character in Ultimate Custom Night, and I can understand why. They suck. They are really annoying, and I hate them. So, yeah, they're going here. They suck. Next up, we have Afton. Afton is, I would definitely say, is harder than the mask characters. Even though he only shows up once a night, he can catch you off guard if you happen to be getting overwhelmed. But it's nothing too serious. He's quite easy to deal with, in my opinion. He only shows up once a night. As long as you are paying attention, you'll be fine. Next up, we have Ballora. Ballora is actually going to go into hard AF. She's quite easy to deal with, in my opinion. It's just listening to her sound cue. But it is a very quiet sound cue that, with everything else going on, just makes it a pain. She is definitely one of the more... she's killed me more often than other characters. Also another back character. Who's gonna go here? And it's gonna go down, actually, because he makes a sound. And so, Mountain Breeze is the same. Makes a sound, and he's as easy to hear. Actually, he's gonna go up, actually, because he can kill you if you're on the camera faster than everyone else. But it is what it is. Next up, we've got the 2 balloon children, who are... I'm actually going to put... I'm putting them in and I'll be fine. They are not that difficult to deal with at all. I don't know why I'm thinking. They are not. I'll probably say this is the harder to deal with because the doors not being shut is normally pretty fine. I've never had an issue with that. But they just shut the side vent every time they appear. They're not that bad, to be completely honest. Next up we have Bonnet, who is one of the 6 secret characters in Ultimate Custom Night. They only appear in such cases. And I would say that, again, we'll be fine. You just boop the nose. You have plenty of time. They make a sound cue. It's pretty hard to... Unless, like, Nightmare Young gets in the way, like, you should be fine. Next up we have Bonnie. Now, Bonnie was one of the, like, the most controversial in my last list because I put him quite high. But very good point, I didn't know this. He's the easiest character to deal with because he actually makes the game easier. With him active with Foxy, he doesn't make it harder. He makes it easier because of the cam stalling. Like, he literally, like, when he's figures on the desk, Foxy doesn't progress. Which we'll get to, I'll do at the same time. Foxy is here. Foxy is a pain to deal with. He is harder than Toy Freddy because he can just decide to kill you if the figure doesn't get off the desk. He's annoying, so you meant to watch him. Bonnie, if you look at Bonnie, he turns the cameras off. But the thing is, when Bonnie turns the cameras off, he doesn't make it impossible to interact with the cameras. It just means you can't see what's on the cameras, which is less important than actually being on the camera. So, for that reason, they're going there. They're not hard at all. Chica is difficult. Chica, now, like, the GMB cycle makes, like, all the music box characters, like, pretty much dealt with in the same way. But Chica is probably gonna go here. She's definitely one of the harder characters for sure. But they're not that difficult. For sure. Now, the 3 plush characters, I'm gonna put them all in annoying. They all do the same thing. I'll see what's her name when she comes up. She's not here yet, but we'll see when she comes up. These guys are not hard to deal with at all. It's just that having to look at the plushie is just annoying, and like having to look at them because obviously if you just cam stall them on cam 2, they can't kill you no matter what unless you click off the camera. So they're really easy to deal with. If you're trying to do it like. If you're trying to beat the game with not out cam stalling, they are quite annoying. Still not the hardest characters though. They just make it annoying, so they're not that difficult. But next up, we have El Chip. El Chip actually will go to here because I think he's not. He can cause you to die, but he's not that bad. He's actually quite chill. Phantom Chica, though, is going below Bonnie. Literally does nothing to... Actually, no, above, because she does nothing to the game, while Bonnie actually makes the game easier. Freddy is going to go in the top, but I will be fine. He's pretty much the only reason you have to shut the left door. But he can be annoying if he decides to, like, not bonk on the door and he wastes your power. But he's not that bad, in my opinion. He's pretty chill. I think he's not that hard to deal with. Just shut the left door every time you flip the camera. Phantom Foxy! The reason 50-20 mode is so hard. Again, Phantom Foxy is the reason that no Death Coin runs are so hard, because you have to look at the camera. They're definitely the hardest character, although, a fun fact, the AI level does nothing to their character. So, they're always super difficult. Golden Freddy. Now, Golden Freddy's an interesting character because he isn't that difficult to deal with on his own. However, I would actually argue that he's in, like, annoying, because he does make the game tricky. Not, like, difficult by any means, but, like, with coin farming and other things you gotta do, he's definitely one of the more annoying characters to deal with, so I think that's a fair point. Now, the Mediocre Melodies. Now, I'm gonna put the three baby ones here. So Mr. Hippo and Happy Frog, and then when they show up, Pig Patch, they are all going to be in this spot. Because you put the audio lure on and they get fooled 100% of the time. So you're never gonna die to them. The other Mediocre Melodies, we'll get to them when we get to them. Helpy is like here. He's really easy. In fact, he actually makes the game easier, but he can get you killed if Music Man goes off. And another plushie. Jacko Chica. This is an interesting character, because I don't find Temperature to be that hard to deal with anymore. But I would say they're annoying. They make you have to, like, pay attention, but they're not super difficult. Lefty, I think, would be in the same boat. He's not super difficult. but he's, like, obviously you have the GMB cycle, which makes it really easy to deal with him. But he's definitely, in my opinion, more difficult than everyone else. You definitely have to, these like the focus characters. These ones are kind of like, you know, you see Freddy and you're like, oh, whatever. Lolbit kind of goes, I guess, here. Like, they're definitely the hardest distraction character. Same with the mini arena, it's not even that difficult, they're just, like, annoying. So, Music Man is definitely one of the more annoying characters. The noise meter is, again, if you use GMB, you should be fine, but there's no denying that they are, like, probably the more difficult character, in my opinion. Alright, Nedbear and Orville are going here. These guys are pains in the ass. Like, the audio lure is, like, the reason why the Maniac Melodies are so easy to deal with. But these guys don't give a shit. So they kind of just, like, you have to use the heat on them, and it's annoying and painful, so they're going there. Nightmare BB! Nightmare BB is gonna go here. He can be really annoying. He just, like, decides to be a dick. I would say he's easier than the Maniac Melodies, but he's definitely harder than, like, Golden Freddy. Nightmare Chica, one of the secret characters. I don't know. There, like, not even here. They're not even that hard to deal with. You just turn the AC on when they show up and you're fine. So, not that bad. Nightmare and Nightmare Fredbear, I'm going to put in the same category. They are, like, here. You just listen to their respective sounds. And they're not that hard. I don't find them difficult. They're literally just, you hear the sound and you're like, oh, okay, like, boop. It's not that difficult, in my opinion. Nightmare Freddy is a flashlight character, but I don't find him very difficult at all. He can kill you if you're just not paying attention to the flashlight. But I would say he's, like, here. He's really not that hard to deal with at all. Okay, Nightmare Eon is a different story. Nightmare Eon is, in my opinion, here. Once you know how to deal with him, he's not that difficult, but he makes you have to think about where your mouse is. And that, like, can really screw you up. It is definitely, like, not hard to do on his own. There's certain spots you can avoid him, but he can be annoying. He can cause a lot of deaths. He is, like, especially early on, he definitely gets you killed a lot more. He's not that difficult to deal with, but he does make you have to think about where your mouse is, which can throw you off of other things. So I think that's a fair spot for him. If you think I'm wrong, then, I don't know, blast me in the comments. Old Man Consequences. Honestly, not even kidding, they go on here. They can be so annoying. If, like, there's a million things going on, you just spam C, yes, but, I don't know, like, they punish you a lot more for not reacting. And in my opinion, that's why they go here. They punish you way more, they're annoying, and I don't know, they just suck. Okay, the Phantoms are going, like, here. Except for Phantom Freddy. These two Phantoms do nothing. Phantom Freddy, on the other hand, honestly, he's more difficult than these guys. He basically, like, doesn't allow you to, like, AFK in the office because you keep hitting the flash with the light. He's just annoying. He's not, like, the most annoying character, and he's not difficult at all, but he does make you have to think. So that's if you have to think, then they go here. Also, Toy Bonnie's going where Chica was. Where was she? She was here. Phone Guy is going, honestly, top of annoying. He is not that hard to deal with, but if you miss him, oh my god, he's a pain. He just is not fun at all to deal with. Plush Trap is gonna go here when they show up. Unless you're doing like 50-20, where you know he's gonna show up, which we might as well do this because let's be real. He actually can get you killed. You just don't realize he's there, and that's just like the annoying part about him. So I would say that also another vent character. Where is he at? Where are the vent characters at? They're here somewhere. Oh, here they are. He's actually probably the easiest because you just look at him. Not that hard at all. Now we have to go off the screen. Oh no. There's an ad in the way. I can't reach the others. I have to scroll down. No. That's quick. Okay, Shadow Bonnie is really easy. I'm gonna put him like here. He does nothing. Very easy to deal with. Okay, the puppet. The puppet is going up the top. Very difficult character to deal with. They're very annoying. They, you know, the music box exists for them. They suck. They're not fun to deal with. They're pretty lame. I hate them. But they're not the worst character in the world. Rockstar Bonnie. I'm actually going to put him at... Where did I put with it Bonnie? Here. He is a death sentence if he shows up and you're doing like a typical 321. But just don't be on the camera on 13-second intervals and you'll never run into him. But he... Okay, I probably should be fair. I'll put him here because he can get you killed if you just like... If he shows up, you're dead. But just don't be on the camera on 14-second intervals. Rockstar Foxy is actually easier than Bonnie because, again, he doesn't do anything. Rockstar Chica, not gonna lie, not a super difficult character, but they can be annoying. I'll actually say they're more annoying than the plush characters. Like, if you're not doing a 50-20, like you're not doing like the normal strat, they can be quite annoying. And then we've got our last two, Rockstar Freddy, who is 100% going in like the bottom of annoying. They're not that difficult to deal with, but they, you know, they do make you have to think. Actually, not even. I don't know what I'm talking about. They're like here, more difficult than Freddy and the rest of the gang, but not that hard. And Scrap Baby, who is literally, I don't know, I'll say here. They're definitely like harder to deal with. They're actually no, I'm being too generous. They're like here. They don't really do anything. You just have to hit the button when they look up, and it's really easy to see when they look up. So I guess that's it. But yeah, that's the list. Let me know if you have any other ideas for members only videos. I've got a couple of these on the way. But yeah, this is my definitive list, I guess. Actually, let me do a quick readjustment. Let me go through and quickly just double check, see if there's anything I need to fix. Alright guys, this is my final list. I did a little bit of readjustment, but this is my final list. So, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to stay a member. You know, that kind of cool. Thank you for being a member. It means a lot from deep down inside my heart. Expect some really cool video ideas soon, some little member exclusives. And yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you next time.